It was 11 p.m. when I dragged my suitcase up the winding driveway of my inherited colonial mansion, 2 weeks early from a grueling European business trip. I was dreaming of a hot shower and 12 hours of uninterrupted sleep in my own bed. Instead, I found a sleek Mercedes parked where my car belonged, my house blazing with lights like a Vegas casino, and the faint thump of jazz drifting from my living room. The air carried a cloying scent of jasmine perfume, one I'd choked on at neighborhood meetings for months. That's when I knew Cynthia Hargrove, my HOA president, had crossed a line from petty tyrant to outright intruder. My name's Daniel, 47, a cybersecurity consultant who'd just inherited a 4,200 square foot colonial in Willow Creek Estates, a neighborhood where lawns are manicured with surgical precision and neighbors communicate through passive-aggressive notes. 6 months ago, my Aunt Clara left me her pride and joy a $850,000 home, paid off, a lifeline after my divorce obliterated my savings. The house smelled of cedar and old books, its hardwood floors gleaming with history, its radiators pinging softly each morning like a heartbeat. But every paradise has its serpent, and mine wore designer heels, drove a Mercedes, and ruled the HOA like a dictator with a vendetta. Cynthia, 52, was a real estate agent who treated community standards like a sacred oath. Her townhouse on the neighborhood's edge paled next to the grand colonials like mine, and that seemed to burn her up. Her first visit came days after I moved in, her heels clicking on my walkway like a metronome of doom. She clutched a clipboard and cited my aunt's antique mailbox for violating the HOA's sage green color mandate. "It's $150 if you don't comply within 10 days, she said, her smile colder than a winter audit. I protested the mailbox had stood for decades, but she handed me the citation with the glee of someone who'd just won a power game. The fines piled up. Week 2, $100 for visible trash cans after 6 p.m., despite my late work hours. Week 6, complaints about my son Ethan's friends parking on public streets. By week 12, she threatened penalties for excessive commercial activity because my cybersecurity business got occasional Amazon deliveries. Longtime residents flouted rules without consequence, but I, the divorced newcomer with the big house, was her favorite target. My neighbor Ellen, a warm retiree with a knack for gossip, warned me. Cynthia's territorial. New blood in a fancy house threatens her little empire. When I booked my 3-week trip to London, I only told Ellen and Ethan. Somehow, Cynthia knew. The night before I left, she appeared, offering to keep an eye on my house. Her eyes scanned my foyer like she was appraising it for sale. "I've got it covered," I said. Her smile could have curdled milk. "We'll see." 3 weeks later, I returned early, jet-lagged and craving home. The Mercedes in my driveway stopped me cold. Inside, jazz played, lights blazed, and that jasmine perfume hit me like a slap. Takeout containers littered my kitchen counters, my wine glasses sat dirty in the sink, and upstairs, my shower ran with someone butchering a pop song. I slipped in through the back door, using a spare key hidden under a garden brick, a trick Aunt Clara taught me. My cybersecurity instincts kicked in, document everything, assume nothing. I snapped photos of unfamiliar clothes on my bedroom chair, strange shampoo in my bathroom, and prescription pills labeled C. Hargrove. The singing stopped when I called out, "Cynthia." The shower kept running. Her voice cracked. "Daniel? You're not supposed to be back yet." She emerged in my bathrobe, dripping on my hardwood, looking like a thief caught mid-heist. "I was protecting your property," she stammered, claiming a neighborhood break-in scare. I pointed to an empty $200 Merlot on my nightstand. "By drinking my wine and living in my house." She doubled down, producing a forged emergency caretaker agreement, with my signature laughably fake to my trained eye. Then a toilet flushed. Out walked Officer Tom Brennan, a married cop from 2 streets over, in full uniform, hand on his holster like this was a routine call. The pieces clicked. Cynthia wasn't just squatting, she was running a scam with police backup. "Tom," I said, holding up my recording phone, "you're in my house without permission, off duty, with someone who forged my signature." His confidence crumbled. Cynthia's face turned ashen, but she insisted, "You can't prove anything illegal." The next morning, I called a locksmith and scoured my house like a crime scene. My garage showed signs of used tools misplaced, oil stains from a second car. Ellen brought a casserole and a bombshell. Cynthia had told everyone I was subletting to her to cover divorce debts. She'd hosted dinner parties in my dining room, showing off my home like it was hers. Worse, my security system had been professionally disabled. Furious, I hired Laura Bennett, a lawyer specializing in HOA abuse. She found no trace of Cynthia's claimed emergency powers in the bylaws. Worse, Cynthia had collected illegal monitoring fees from neighbors for years. Cynthia's retaliation was swift. An HOA notice summoned me to an emergency meeting, accusing me of harassment and threatening behavior. The board, stacked with her clients and her cousin Diane, fined me $1,500 and imposed a $500 monthly compliance fee. Only elderly Agnes Pembroke dissented. In the parking lot, Agnes whispered, "She's done this before." Others moved away rather than fight. Laura's discoveries fueled my resolve. Cynthia's caretaker authority was fiction. Her fake invoices for non-existent repairs had siphoned $47,000 from the HOA. Most damning, her business plan for Hargrove Elite Properties outlined using vacant homes as showrooms for rich clients, with my mansion as her crown jewel. She'd even drafted a purchase agreement to steal my house at $200,000 below market value through a fake lien. Ellen, a former forensic accountant, helped uncover a $200,000 fraud scheme across 6 HOAs. We organized a library meeting where 23 homeowners shared stories of Cynthia's abuse, fake fines, coerced real estate deals, targeted harassment. My cybersecurity skills recovered deleted HOA records, including emails where Cynthia bragged about that cybersecurity guy who thinks he's so smart. The evidence was airtight. She'd photographed my home for clients, tried accessing my files, and hosted parties to impress buyers. Cynthia fought dirty. Anonymous tips claimed my home office violated zoning laws. Fake online reviews trashed my business. A child services complaint falsely alleged I neglected Ethan. Patrol cars cruised my street, Tom's buddies sending a clear message. But we struck back. Laura filed a civil lawsuit for trespassing, fraud, and defamation. The FBI took interest in mail and wire fraud charges. At a city council hearing, I played security footage of Cynthia's dinner parties and office snooping. The crowd's sympathy for her victim act evaporated. Detective Sarah Klein confirmed her indictment for racketeering. Councilman James Carter passed Daniel's Law, mandating HOA transparency. Cynthia's final gambit was a restraining order claiming I stalked her. At the hearing, Laura dismantled her lies with timestamps and recordings of my polite board meeting questions. Judge Margaret Ellison denied the order, warning Cynthia about false claims. When Cynthia claimed a computer crash erased HOA records, my data recovery specialist retrieved 87% of them, exposing her fraud in vivid detail. At a packed HOA meeting, Agnes moved to oust Cynthia. The 4-1 vote, with only Diane dissenting, ended her reign. As Cynthia stormed out, FBI agent Maria Cortez arrested her for fraud and conspiracy. The crowd was silent, the autumn wind louder than her protests. Ethan, doing homework in the back, deadpanned. That was dramatic. 6 months later, Cynthia pleaded guilty, receiving 18 months in prison, $127,000 in restitution, and a revoked real estate license. Tom got 6 months and lost his pension. A $45,000 settlement funded the Willow Creek Good Neighbor Fund for community support. As treasurer of a reformed HOA, I oversaw transparent finances. Property values rose, and our block party became a celebration of unity. Daniel's Law spread to 3 states, and a documentary, When HOAs Go Rogue, won local acclaim. My house felt like home again, filled with laughter and Ethan's friends, not Cynthia's schemes. Aunt Clara would have smiled, knowing her sanctuary brought a community together. If your HOAs pulled something shady, share your story. Documentation beats intimidation every time.